You know what's funny? Last night, the progressive conservatives in Newfoundland and Labrador won a majority government. And of course, people on X are celebrating it like it's some huge conservative victory. Carney's honeymoon is over, guys. But did anyone actually read their platform? Because I did. And it is one of the most progressive, bureaucratic, big government documents I've ever seen coming from a party calling itself conservative. Right at the start, they talk about equity and inclusion. Their own platform says, we will inform decisions with gender-based plus analysis. That is the same identity framework used by the Liberals and the NDP. It means every policy gets filtered through race, gender, and sexuality instead of cost, freedom, or merit. That's not conservative. That's bureaucracy pretending to be compassionate. Then, they promise to fix the Liberals' pay equity law and replace it with new legislation for equal pay for work of equal value. That's not fairness. That's wage control. It means bureaucrats deciding what every job is worth. That's central planning, pure NDP policy dressed up in blue. Then, they create a new advocate for persons with disabilities. Sounds fine until you realize it's another taxpayer-funded office. Hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year lobbying the same government that funds it. Now, right below that, they promise multi-year core operational funding for community groups. Translation, permanent funding for activist organizations. Once they depend on government money, they'll never speak against it. Now, childcare. They support the $10 a day daycare plan, the exact same liberal program, but they admit it's unaffordable and inaccessible. Their fix? Let's create an advisory panel, add daycare spaces, give pensions, and paid sick leave to daycare workers. So instead of ending a failing program, they're expanding it. That's not conservatism, that's managing socialism. Oh, and this is a good one. And then on climate, they call the Paris Accord unrealistic. But then they double down by promising a new climate change action plan to chase net zero anyway. So they're not rejecting the agenda, they're just rebranding it. That's not conservative environmental policy, that's green politics in a blue folder. Then comes the spending. A rules secretariat and cabinet, a police oversight board, an advocate for disabilities, and multi-year funding for community groups on top of it. That is not small government, that is growth disguised as reform. And it gets worse. Every project over $500,000 must include community benefits agreements with targets for women, gender diverse individuals, and indigenous workers, plus a 10% appearance quota. That is not merit-based hiring, that is social engineering in public contracts. They also promise poverty reduction and prevention strategy, which means they expand benefit eligibility and want to negotiate national pharmacare in Ottawa. That's not reforming welfare, that's helping the Liberals expand it. And they're still committed to UNDRIP, the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples, which overlap Indigenous and federal law and hands more power to unelected international bodies. That is not conservatism, that's globalism in province form. So let's be honest, this platform isn't conservative.